since. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die. 'Cause I don't know what's up there beyond the sky. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. I go to the movie and I go downtown. Somebody keep telling me don't hang around. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. Then I go to my brother and I say, brother, help me please. But he winds up knocking me back down on my knees. Lord, there've been times that I thought I could last for long, but now I think I'm able to carry on. It's been a long time coming.
My name is Anderson Jeffrey. This is the Workers' Rights Platform, and we are broadcasting live on the Workers' Rights Internet. Now, on Friday, 7th of February, 2025, we would have attended a meeting in Granville, in our area, a Let's Talk meeting, a PNM Let's Talk meeting. And we would have been telling you this or transmitting information like this on this platform consistently to you, the members of the public. To you, the members of the public. Now, plenty of the people within the area who directly live in that particular area within the district of Point Fortin would have reached out to us to highlight issues on their behalf. And when we would have asked them why, they would have said to us that the victimization is real. And this video here today is to highlight a dishonest behavior on behalf of the MP of Point Fortin and his team. We would have been there in the meeting. We would have taken it by the way. But when we was reviewing the footages, both from our personal material and that what would have existed within the public domain, we would have discovered this. It's very subtle, but it is effective nonetheless, where they is concerned. We would have seen that the material that they have within their possession in terms of the live recording, it was muted when we would have made our contribution, I and Sheldon Khan, on behalf of the people
Bluetooth
within the
disconnected.
area. That is very dishonest of you, Mr. Kennedy Richards, and your technical team. That is a very dishonest thing. Because at the end of the day, the voices that you marginalize to look good in front of the crowd that you intend to convince is louder. The people are going to speak out. You are there, a matter of fact, to address the problems and the concerns of every citizen within the area, despite of what side of the fence they fall on. And when they silence certain voices, that indicates something about you being the MP for that area. That was dishonest of you and the entire technical team that you would have brought there. Because the questions in which we would have asked you, now we have to be concerned if you are going to really look into that. One, the fishermen and them was talking about the crime situation within the area. Basically, the borders are open and somebody from in Venezuela could just come across that period and commit a crime and go back. And that is one of the questions. And the next thing is the university. Why do I have a university on this side? Why do I have technical school on this side of the fence? Why people have to go to Pike, St. Augustine, and pass Sando and Lawn? There is a need for educational content within the area, not just anything. Things that will attract people and people will be able to use to approach the current job market within this country and probably abroad. What are you doing to attract these people and them? Simple questions, but yet still, the normal, usual semantics, dancing around. So, we are going into the video specifically concerning the contributions in which I and Sheldon Can would have brought to the table. And if you would like to see the entire contribution from the side of the PNM, which we don't have no problem in playing here, we are not like them. That is not what we are about. We are about representation and representing the people in the area accurately. We here on this Workers' Rights platform, we are disappointed in you, Kennedy Richards, and your technical team. Please do better. The people of Trinidad and Tobago deserve the truth. Thank you, and thanks for watching. And we will be showing up to your next event. Thank you.
So, good afternoon. Good afternoon, folks. My name is Sheldon Can, and this afternoon we're coming live from Coromandel Village, Cedrus. And the reason why we're here this afternoon, the People's National Movement is having a community meeting in this village this afternoon to discuss, the Member of Parliament for Point Porton, Kennedy Richards, who has been the Member of Parliament for this area for the last 10 years. As you know, election is sometime this year, 2025. So he's moving around campaigning. So this afternoon he is in this area. I am from Chatham, which is next to this area. So he's coming this afternoon to tell you his plans for the next term of office and what he would have done for his last term of office. So this afternoon, myself and Renaissance Jeffrey is here to pose some questions given people's concern in the area. So this afternoon, as I said, myself, Sheldon Can, and my co-host, Renaissance Jeffrey, will be here to speak with you.
Right, and listen, I was on the next side of the camera, but Sheldon will have given the whole ordeal, so we hope to tape and have a productive day today. As you see, we come here just to ask questions as people of the community. Right?
A lot of the constituents would have had questions or have questions. One of the questions right down the road, in this area in particular, there's an area where this road in particular that we're on right now, the road has collapsed. So the fishermen in that area can't get to the beach. I know there's a road lower down by the temple there that they're using right now, and the fishermen have been complaining that they need facilities for that fishing type. And there are other questions as well that persons want to know. And that's why we're here this afternoon to ask the MPs these concerns as it pertains to the area of Point Fortin and this area in particular at large. Understand?
Yeah, that is what it is, Zana.
Good afternoon. My name is Shalak and I'm from the village of Chatham, which is right next door to here. My question to the MP, let me first start off by saying I want to congratulate you for your efforts in coming out to the community and addressing the neighbors and their concerns. I think it's a wonderful job that you're doing. I see you say that one of your pet projects is building those micro homes for persons. While I do applaud your efforts, I would like to segue a bit. On a daily basis, passing through your area and the area of Point Fortin, a major concern of mine is the number of persons I see working in seabed gangs. I see that you're very concerned about the sporting facilities. My question to you, being a trained pilot, it means to say that you appreciate education, you appreciate training. However, my concern is every time I pass, I see the number of seabed gangs and the number of people working on those gangs are increasing. I know that you've been a public figure in public office for 20 or odd more years or so. Again, given that your propensity is towards education, you've been a trained professional pilot, so you understand the value of education, you value the understanding of training. What is your vision? Or what do you think? I would like to see people, yes, I see you say you can't employ everybody in MTS, and I understand that. Because at no point in time the government can hire everybody. And I doubt you or your father or any member of your community, and many members of your family wants to work CPET, Mr. Barber, as well. I'm sure he's a trained professional. My question to you is, how do you plan to move people out of that CPET? Where is the community effort in places? So I applaud you that you will understood that you can't stay in point and keep a meeting, so you would have come to an area like this, because people in this community here may not have the means to come to a meeting in Point Fortin because they may be unemployed, underemployed, or not employed at all. As a consequence, that also falls to the school system. I believe the school system that we have, of course you are one of the lucky ones, I am one of the lucky ones, where we basically, because of our acumen, we're able to understand the value of education and have that family support. I, on the other hand, observe there are a number of persons in our community who don't understand that. I have several neighbors who don't complete school, do not go to school, and I am counting down time as to when the police will put their hand on them. Because they're not going to school, they're lying with the wrong company, they have no training, no community training is there and available to address them, whereby they could not, if the education system fails them, or if, let's say, they don't complete secondary school education, or even primary school education, what is your intention in terms of community training? So the same way you could have leave point and understand that you have to come here to address those individuals, that they cannot reach point. What is your plan or initiative to tackle those persons so that they can become more productive individuals? So you don't have to build houses for them, so that you don't have to employ them in MTS. Because I am sure that every person here has ambition. Nobody grows up wanting to be a CPAP worker. Nobody grows up wanting, including yourself. Nobody wants to be working in MTS. Everybody here has a particular likeness, a particular predisposition. I don't want to go on too long, I realize that people getting fed up of that. But anyway, that is my contribution. The next contribution is, I would like a 24-hour gas station in Boyforton. Because of the efforts, again, let me applaud you for your efforts. I would have been one of the person advocating strongly, you know that, right? Because of your efforts, and I'm advocating, all right, the highway is now semi-completed. But on a regular basis, even tonight, if you go down there, you will see a lot of people on the beach, but the gas station is closed. So if you have somebody from San Juan come down here to see Gallo, whoever, you know, he's talking point, he ain't coming back. I would like a 24-hour gas station and 3C wants a CNG center station. Right? I don't want to take up too much time. Again, let me congratulate you for your efforts in this community outreach. And I will leave the harder question for we meet next time. Mr. Bandu, I have a leaking pipe next to my house. I live the first house on Bellevue Trace, Chatham. There's a leaking pipe a leaking main next to my house over a year now. I have called WASA, I called RIC. The leak is so long that the road is starting to cave. So I don't want to have to go in front of Mr. Kennedy office and do a video with my partner Edison to get that fixed when we can save that money. So if you could address that for me too, please. All right, so thank you again.
Good evening to the MP, Port Fortin, Kennedy Richards, and good evening to the residents of Boudram Trace, Granville, Point Cook, and environment. So I will take the last question first, and the second I will address it. I must admit, with respect to leaks, right, I had a meeting up to yesterday in terms of how we detect leaks, how we treat it, how it is reported, and how we execute the repair. We are currently implementing a maintenance strategy using Maximo. You will be probably with Maximo, and it is a software to track the progress in terms of when the leak was reported and when it was repaired. Recently, I would have contacted the member for parliament to let his councillors and persons of interest to generate a list of leaks for me, and I would have treated with it. And also our concern is in terms of restoration. We at the authority are looking to partner with our sister company, our state agency, Leak Asphalt, to ramp up road restoration, because the repair of the leak is one thing, but the state that WASA, I would admit, leaves the road in, leaves a lot to be desired. But long story short, I will speak to you after, and I will address it.
Thank you very much for the questions, Sheldon. So there's a lot to unpack, but I will start from the back up. So with respect to the CNG station, the CNG had one issuing point, which is the line that they had to connect to the old CNG. So they are working on that, and also NGC Green is working on a collaboration. They have a collaboration act with the Taxi Drivers Association, where they would be putting a CNG type arrangement. I believe it's close to the roundabout by Labrie. Right, so you would have that CNG arrangement, and that is outside of the 24-hour gas station arrangement. We have identified some land for the 24-hour gas station. You see that area that they front where we had the opening ceremony for that? So we're looking at, I don't know, but we'll end the next mic. Next mic. Right, so let me try this. Let me try this one. So check. Right, this one is a lot better. Right, so there is that area that we identified for that gas station. But you know the government don't build gas stations, so it has to be NP or Unipet with a partnership with somebody who's willing to invest the money. So they have to go through that. So they have identified a couple of people, and they are going through their pieces. Their pieces now. I know Unipet has been a bit aggressive, and they want to come into the whole gas station. There's been a couple of people Unipet has spoken to. But one of the things that piqued my interest was collaboration that they had with the Alvarez family, which is Fian and Bungie and whatnot. So what they actually want to do is, outside of putting just a gas station, they want to build like a strip mall where you would have a gym, you would have a bakery, you would have the opportunity for other offices and stuff like that right there. And they have started to discuss the whole design and whatnot. But the land poses the biggest obstacle. So once they can get over that hurdle with the land, which is a state-owned petrogen type arrangement, that crown land business. So once they can get over that hurdle where that land is concerned, I believe that either UDPET or even NP could be pushing to do that soon. If I tell you tonight that will happen before the next general election, I will be telling untruths. And I ain't coming here to do that. Right? But I can tell you that safely that discussions have been started where that 24-hour gas station is concerned, because as Brother Khan said, it's definitely a necessity for the people at Point 40. You don't want to come from far and then see an E and then you realize by 8 o'clock you can't get no gas. You got to spend the night and I don't have a hotel in Point. And the small ones that we have, we in that room. So there presents a lot of challenges, and we're trying to work around those challenges to ensure that there is comfort, so that people can come in and lime and do what they had to do and head back out safely. So that is that. I took some notes, spoke about the school system. I mean, I can't get it wrong, right? It's not everyone would have gone through the school system and would have come out with what they hoped to come out with. And some may have fallen to jobs like CPEP and, because as you get older, you have to maintain. You still have bills, the bills will come, you still have responsibility. Whether it's a parent or not, you will have responsibility. And what we have done is we have seen the gap. For those who don't have like basic school even, right? And you work in the CPEP and you work in maybe the URPNS, the altar classes and stuff like that we encourage you to go. We can't force you to go. We encourage you to go to the altar classes, they will. And then we can take it from there to level 1, NASC or level 1 in some other program, YTEP, HYPE, and all those other programs. You would have seen on the slide, we were heavily invested in the educational segment of it, where we want to regenerate NASC. We want to do the youth camp, we want to do some of that. And that is to capture that same thing that you're speaking about. And you're right, nobody wake up in the morning and say, well, I as a young person, I want to go and work CPEP. And we are not going to allow them to fall by the wayside. We're going to say to them, listen, work CPEP in the morning and in the afternoon, this is the opportunity for you to go. The Prime Minister in his wisdom would have developed a whole ministry, youth development and national service, to take care of that same thing that you're talking about. The police will pick up somebody, right? It's something that is not just in Chatham or in Warden Road, right? Or in Point 14 Road. It's every constituency within the country. And we really want to get those young men and those young women who they consider lost for some reason or the other, and really get them into a program. But it has to be a program that they like. It has to be a program that they would want to go. For a lot of times people come, start programs, but they go because they have a stipend. And not understanding that the stipend is just to help you get by. The stipend is not pay. So you had to go get the education. As you rightly said, I trained. And it wasn't easy. And I had to beg on a morning when I had to get to Piaco for 6 o'clock. I had to walk out of work now 3 o'clock in the morning. Because only one man working and I sleepy, he started at 3:30. And if I don't get out on time, I can't catch the 4 o'clock bus to reach up to Champlain at a certain time to do what you have to do. So there's a lot of sacrifices that has to be made. And as a government, we would have put certain things in place where we could capture some of those who would have fallen by the wayside. However, we're not up to the point yet where NASC is complete and the other programs are already gearing and running to already take in some of them. But it's something that I have noted, and it's something that I'm not going to stop until I really get those young people. But I want to let you know something. CPEP has not increased. What you may have seen is 2 different teams coming together to cut an area. So you have seen a conglomeration of people there. and it looked like more people coming in CPEP, but we have not had an increase in CPEP contractors or CPEP personnel in the area at all. And we can go as far as to talk about the unemployed. And there's another concern that we have. In every community there are people who are unemployed. We are trying to create jobs for them. And I hope that when the NESC opens and when the GAP opens and when the administrative building opens, we could move some people into that. Some of the lower end jobs, you move into that and you utilize the opportunity in those facilities as well to learn and upskill yourself into something bigger. Community training is an important thing. So the ladies here and the people from the community, in the interaction with them, would have spoken about this farm community center that they have. Right, we are here tonight. We should be in a community center, but we don't have it. So we have to be able to get them a community center so they could take community development courses that is there, whether it's mixing, bread making, all those little things that you could do, balloon and decoration. Those little things you can learn and you can make an extra dollar for yourself. Free courses, but there's an opportunity for you to upskill, opportunity for you to do a small business. Let me see if I'm missing anything. You know, and the general vision, right? Yeah, we can't employ everybody with FTS, but the general vision is to ensure that we have sustainability. You know, the government didn't want to build a house for everybody. We want to make sure that everybody has the means where they can build a house. However, at this point in time, if we see somebody's house needing to fall, and you know, whether they have kids or they don't have kids, you know, they are human beings too, and they may not have the means to treat with it. So that's why this whole program came about. But you're right. You know, it's better to give somebody a skill so that they can fish for themselves rather than give them the fish themselves. So I take that, and you know, I would have some further discussions with the team as to how we could probably generate a program, even talk to them, people in the CPEP and the URP and stuff like that. I could go personally and have another chat with them, especially young people. I don't like to see young people in those type of arrangements because I feel like it has so much in store for them that they can learn instead of staying in a situation like that. But the points are noted, and we would not rest until we treat with that situation because they are the future. You know, so and if we leave the future to rotten, you know what's going to happen to the entire country. So I thank you for that, and I hope that I would have answered the question.
Good afternoon, everybody. Mr. Kennedy Richards and the gentleman, Master Gentleman. So, in the keep with the concerns of the constituency, a lot of people would have reached out to us here in this constituency. However, we didn't see some of them here tonight, but they asked me to address that issue concerning with the same fishing aspect, but from a different perspective. Now, before I ask the question, some of them would have mentioned to me that there are security issues in terms of the safety on the waters and with their boats. They say the system here to protect them, it is compromised because they say in the dead of the night that basically somebody could come from Venezuela and come across here and commit a crime and go back undetected. Now, to broaden it with the crime issue that is around the area and especially there, how it is you would address, I don't want to say failure, because it would sound negative, but anyway, that is the only word that it had. Because seeing that it had somewhat 600 plus murders last year on record, how would you address the failure of the administration to implement effective crime-fighting measures to keep the citizens safe, especially to apply that same trade that I talk about in terms of fishing? And secondly, the issue with education. Now, I hear you addressing in NESC, basically that is safety nets in terms of if the school system fails. That is addressing it from the bottom up, addressing it from the top down in terms of All right, you talk about you had also go quite up to do this pilot thing. Now, I had also go St. Augustine. There was one point in time, there was a university open campus behind the park in Point 14. Now, within this whole peninsula on this side here, there is no high standard education in terms of everybody had to leave Point 14. Now, there are people here that live in Point 14 and going that distance. So, education becomes a money issue here within this community. If you're poor in this community, in Cedros, you're doomed to stay poor. Because it will be a sacrifice to send a child that distance. And if the family has the money and the child brains and the able, that the capabilities, they are doomed to failure. How it is the government will be able to address this issue. Now I see a lot of parks and nice roads and a whole set of things, development taking place in and around the area. But the thing about it, Eric Williams would have said the future of the children is in the book bag. And I nice slide, development. But what the government is putting in place as to bring a university in this area, so the skill level of the people in this area, including myself, my niece, my nephew, or everybody, could reach to a particular standard that we don't have to address it from the bottom up. We address it from the top, keep on going up in terms of, different development. Thank you.
Well, I want to start with the seafarers. I understand that there is some inherent risk once you go out on that water. There is the Coast Guard that has a responsibility and a duty to protect the borders of this country. I would have thought that facility with the Minister of National Security as well as the Minister of Agriculture, because we also have issues with poultry and other meat products coming through the border. Some detected, some undetected. So there is that issue. So that has been addressed with them. I have passed on that to the Ministry of National Security and all those, whether it's the CDS would have who has to deal with it. He has to deal with what he has to deal with. My concern and my primary concern will be the safety of my constituents. It's something that I continue to lobby for the patrols and also for training for the seafarers. I also act on a committee which is the Joint Select Committee on Fisheries, and it actually broadened my whole scope of this whole fishing thing. In that facility, in that Joint Select Committee, what we discovered is in fishing villages, there are those who don't even make it out of primary school, but they go straight into fishing. So we have that challenge. We have the challenge with safety. We have the challenge with security. We have the challenge with people going out there and they don't have the necessary PPE, not the necessary equipment. They don't have the necessary skills or even training to be on the boat. So they have identified a lot of those things, and they are coming up with a program from the Ministry of Agriculture to treat with some of those things. They would have done as much as they could have done on the land in terms of the agricultural aspect, but we require the services of the Coast Guard to be able to protect the citizens of this country from the sea. And that is something that we cannot abdicate that responsibility from them for. I can't take the responsibility for that because I would have done what I needed to do as a member of parliament to highlight that situation through the whole border. Because let me tell you something, Trinidad is especially the Southwest Peninsula, is a very difficult place to protect. But that doesn't mean to say that they shouldn't be protected. But it's difficult. So it may mean that you have to have drones, it may mean that you have to have boats, it may mean that you have to have helicopters, it's going to take some resources and some proper planning. And I can't plan it for them because in the national security ambit, I'm just a civilian. So I would not be privy to a lot of the things that is discussed where national security is concerned. But I take your point, and trust me that I will put it in writing to the Minister of National Security. By Wednesday, you'll have a letter stating just that on the facts coming out of this Let's Talk. And that's the purpose of this Let's Talk, to actually hit those issues and to take it to where it needs to go. With respect to the crime, I mean, nobody can be satisfied with crime. 600 murders is too much. The challenge with that is nobody does tell you when they're going to pick up a gun and kill somebody. You know, we would have increased the police by... Police actually increased exponentially. You have 100 police in Sapar, you have 100 in Point, patrolling all about that vehicle, somebody crash, you have a whole crash in that vehicle. So there's a lot to unwrap with the police service, and you know what's taking place in the police service, right? There's a lot to unwrap. You know, government will buy 100 vehicles every year, and probably 40 of them crashing every year. You know, so there's a lot to unwrap, and as I say, I don't try to put no spin on anything to make no untruths to anybody. It's not where it should be. You know, we are not where we should be as a country. Hence, we are in a state of emergency at this point in time, and police service have to continue to fight. We have to continue to do things to take back our communities. You know, we all may know somebody who's not on the right side of the law, and it's not in our power to just go and engage with that person, because that could end up deadly, that could end up different. You know, so we're to engage, as you say, education is power. With respect to the universities, you make a very salient point. We used to have the open campus right at that point. They pulled out, and you know why they pulled out? They pulled out because they were not getting the interest, the amount of people signing up for the courses. You can get them to come back, but it's not going to. It's going to require more than a handful of people to be at the courses. I mean, I and all did some open campus courses, even though I went to UV St. Augustine with the man on my right here. We both did physics together in UV St. Augustine, and it was difficult for us too. We had to leave. We had to actually rent in St. Augustine. It's a course. So while school is free, tuition is free because I get start to pay rent, and if you have to travel, it's a lot of money, especially from this area. So if you leave Point Fortin, Cedros, Carcass, Bonas, Granville, you can travel to that school every day, back and forth, and then hope to be successful. So it comes down to that financial sacrifice, and I said that everybody would have that sacrifice, but there are things called bursaries. People who would have attained a certain level could apply for bursaries, and what the bursaries does is like a scholarship. Government is going to give you that, and for those who cannot access the bursaries, in my day, I'm not sure if it's still active, in my day in the library, in the National Library, there were areas that we could have applied for different grants from the government that they will give you. So there's also the health loan as well, that they will give as a zero interest loan for that same thing. You can't afford, your parents can't afford to send you to school. They give you the health loan, the government guarantee that, so it's no interest. So if you borrow $25,000 for the year, that's what you're paying back, $25,000, you pay back a cent more than that. So there are those things. So when you telling me that, it means to say that we have to go on a drive to make people a bit more aware of some of the programs that there are to help people, which comes from the government. And there are those who would fall by the wayside, and that's where we as a community have to step in. You know, I'll give you this example. I had a friend who went to Bessini with us, and he was having that same challenge when it was time to go to UE. He's from Rosila, and the community cricket team is who actually kicked up and sent him to school. You know, it took him 4 years to complete the degree, but they stood behind him, and that's where the strength of our community comes in. You know, that's the strength of our people comes in, and you know, we got to see each other as one. And there's a lot of infrastructure programs on this slide because we lack in infrastructure. So I had to go and do a lot of infrastructure programs. But you would also see the Let's Talk. They would also see the Adapa trial. The Adapa trial is literally me saying to people, education is important. So we do that. It costs 250,000. I mean, there are some young people who would have petitioned my office, and we send them to school for about 3 years. And your point is a salient one. We have to do more, but I think it's more highlighting what programs are there to be accessed so that you could attain the higher education. But to say that we're going to get a UV back in point 40 very soon, it's going to be difficult. I mean, we can get a UTT type programs back through the NESC building where we can have the higher type learning. That's going to be a lot easier, and it's going to be a lot more affordable because I know there is a joint thing with them and the NESC, and we could upskill it that way. But we also require that people sign up for those courses, sign up for those programs, and actually complete them. Because NESC in the first instance, why it was shut down is because the intake was too low. Hiring teachers, and teachers had no classes to teach. Sometimes I had one person in the class, and that one person didn't come to the day, so what did the teacher do? So that is why they would have shut down that program. Sometime in 2013, 2014, they would have shut down the NESC, and then it stayed dormant for 5 years, and then we're now trying to bring it back because we see that there is a gap. So your point is valid, and your point is noted, and you could look out for me bringing some of that awareness as to the community as to what they can utilize to access to get children from these remote areas into the higher education, into UV, into UTT, into Roy Tech, and all those other places. So that is a very good question. I'll take a more deeper look into that.
Now, my girlfriend was a tutor at the UAE in Point Fortin. Now, not only that people never used to attend classes, it also have an underlying issue, which is the type of courses that was given out. It wasn't attractive to the people. It's doing things like instrumentation and plumbing and things that you can get in NESC. Plenty, the preponderance of the courses on them. You had to go quite places like Point Lisas. You had to go places like past San Fernando. I was talking, but anyway, I forget which part. I think the name ain't coming to me, but the courses was not attractive enough to attract the people in the community. Now, I hear what you say about the crime issue, and coming back to that, can I safely say that in terms of the crime issue that the government really do not have a plan to deal with it? Because I hear you saying crime is a big issue, but people are unsafe, and they're really looking for answer. That would access Joel Hines. He deviate plenty time. The actual are the same increased thing. What really are the because to go to school you have to be safe, eh? You have to know that you might end up in these kind of things. What really, where is the meat? Where is the genesis? What we could say, more patrol, community comfort patrol was taken away, and I could call a lot of other aspects of it. What could really, is it that the government don't have a plan for crime? Or is it that the need for these schools and them, because these projects, one of these projects and them could be supplemented and put at university because there is a need for it. There is a need for it. And talking to you, I realize that you identify that. We go into, for years now, you use about in your 30s, and years now you're going up there. It is a need for it. And I don't want to say like how the hospital was years, and then the payday. Because people from Cedros started to go stand out to do major surgery. Now we reach that stage. What are the plans in implementing back these kind of things that, we could get a little relief?
Well, that type of plan, that will be solely on the National Security Council, the Minister of National Security, and that entire council. So what I could commit to you tonight and to everybody here is to get one of the ministers of national security, especially maybe even Keith Scotland, who is in charge of the police, have him come down here and we have a tongue meeting and stuff like that. But we had a tongue meeting recently in Tisha. That was maybe 2 months ago in Tisha, where we had all the high-ranking officers from the Southwest, and we were asking them, what is the plan, what is the crime plan, what is this, what is that? Because the plan for policing really should come from the police. The government's role is to provide the resources for them to be able to treat with the issues that arise and treat with crime. So not deviating from what you say, I think the Minister of National Security come here. You could grill him when you come, and
I'm glad you say that. That is very important. I mean, they delegate the responsibility, but seeing that we have a program that is run on YouTube, I would like to invite you and the national security. I mean, this is just a small village, and I believe the rest of the country needs to hear about it. So I'm formally inviting you. My number is 333-2176. I mean, we could make arrangement, and it's actually online. You could do it from the comfort of your home. Keith Scotland could do it from the comfort of his home. You don't have to come into the studio. And it's something that it's so bad right about now, the police force in Trinidad and Tobago, that everybody frightened. So I'm formally inviting you to that program, and I'm looking forward to a positive answer.
No problem.
Thank you.